I was scared to death. I have not looked through the eyepiece of the camera at an actor in all that length of time. What would my first film be about? It certainly wasn't going to be about war. I had my belly full of war, and I came out a terrific pacifist. So what would it be about? The man from RKO, he came and he said, I've got just the story. 3 powerhouse guys had written scripts on this thing. They missed the idea. I said, what idea? He said, the idea I got when I bought this Christmas card. And in about 9 paragraphs, there was this story. A man who was a failure was given the opportunity to come back and see the world as it would have been had he not been born. And he finds out no man is a failure. Well, my goodness, this thing hit me like a ton of brick. It's carried out in this unique plot because a man who thought he was a failure and thought everybody around him would have been better off had he not been born was given the chance to see how the world around him would have been, his own small little world, would have been had he not been born.
And he hired Hackett and Goodrich, 2 of the finest writers that have ever been in motion pictures. It's wonderful. And in 2 weeks they had, without it being an actual happening, without it being a play, a book, or anything, this from just these little lines, just little tiny thoughts. This is the way It's a Wonderful Life originated.
I think when he came back from the war, first of all, he didn't know if he could pick up his career again because it had been so long. And did he want to? Was it trivial? You know, after what he'd been through, is just making movies and trivial. And then I think, you know, Capra came to him with this film, and it was the vehicle for him to get back into filmmaking.
He, I think, felt a little insecure about his technique at that time because it had been years since he had stood in front of a camera. And it was interesting to watch him regain his confidence and take control.
Creating moments in movies, this, I think, is the important thing. Nobody knows exactly how it happens. What you should do is to prepare yourself as best you can to make these moments happen. It's really not so much the performance. It's really not, there are moments. There are moments.
Had this bond with him because my father was still in Canada and I hadn't seen him for quite a while, and he was so kind and nice and so very tall. And I'm short now, but I was shorter then when I was 10.
Janie, go on, I told you to practice. Now go on, play.
Oh, Daddy.
Have you tried to get some sleep?
I'm not sleepy. I want to look at my flower.
I know, but you just go to sleep. And then you can dream about it.
I have to admit that I actually sat down and I watched the movie when I was 40 years old. First time I ever saw it. And I really felt like it was a piece of film history at that time. And I feel so grateful that I was a part of that film and that I could be that little girl Zuzu and have that special line at the end of the movie.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right.
And when it first came out, strangely enough, it wasn't a big commercial success, was it?
No.
And over the years, it's developed into all those minor classics that you've become stronger every year.
Well, it's amazing. It's become such a Christmas picture all over the world.
George Bailey wanted to go see the world and he wanted to travel. And when I was younger, I saw the film. I was kind of mad at the town for putting all this pressure on him to stay and everything, but he did. And it's a film about sacrifice and pulling in your borders and making the life that you have with the people you have around you mean something.
Capra is the master of the use of sentiment.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? Just to know like the true meaning behind it and just having everyone thoughts, the cast members, it's just such a iconic moment to witness and to hear them and how they felt during the movie. For me in my household, when I was a little girl, this was like a staple piece in my home. And my parents, this and Charlie Brown, like that was like the number one things that especially my father, more him, used to always have us to sit down and watch. So when I became an adult with my own kids, they could not get into it because it was black and white. Okay, so, but I love that I came across this, just the making and just to see them be older and talk about the experience and how the movie has, this movie was made, I think, in about the year 46 or 47, and we are literally going into 2025, and this is still a thing. And I think this is just one of those movies that would just definitely go down in history as just being number one. Because by far for me, this is like the ultimate Christmas movie for me. And it just was a pleasure to see the cast age so gracefully and just to talk about what the movie meant to them and more or less the making of George Mr. Bailey or whatever. But I just wanted to come on and share that with you guys, my thoughts and with the cast and them about, I think that was the filming when he was with Johnny Carson. I think that's probably was like in the 80s or 90s. Just looking at that footage, I think that was probably like the early 80s, maybe not even the 90s, probably like early 80s. But he aged very gracefully. It's like he still stayed tall. You know how sometimes when people get like really up in age, sometimes, I don't know if that's like the right word, but they shrink. And it's all about what you do in your life when you're young, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. The calcium in your body, as far as like with your back, I think it can have you like bent over when the time goes on. But he looks so good. The whole cast looks so good. And it just felt so iconic, and it just felt so really nice. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because this movie is a heart to me. This movie is a jewel piece to me, and I would go down in history. I would share this movie even with my grandkids. So I think now my kids is really kind of getting used to the movie with me trying to play it every year for them. But in the beginning, when they were a little bit younger, they're like, no, I can't because it's black and white. And I know they got a color version, but for me, this is the best version. I don't want to see it in color. I like to see it like in black and white. But okay, guys, I just wanted to give my thoughts on the making of It's a Wonderful Life. And I wanted you guys just to share that moment with me. All right, I hope you guys have a good day.